What's up, guys? It's your boy Kool-Aid Man 100S. Welcome back to the Red Sea. How you guys doing? Before we get into the video, make sure you visit the ebook store, get the ebooks and tips and tricks and exclusive stuff that I come out with and find in the game for Madden 24 and other stuff as well. I'll be in link in the description below. Also, if you want to support the boy, definitely go get the other stuff as well, and other stuff in the link in the description. The Red Sea ebooks, yeah, go get them. So we're going to be doing a full guide breakdown on the master of skill-based passing and freeform passing as well. So we're going to be going a little bit more into the mechanics of the passing mechanics in Madden 24. So it's going to be pretty long of a video, but I'm going to be breaking it down and explaining it to you and how it plays along the way. So we're going to be going over a little bit more of it and a little bit more in-depth description, because I see a lot of people haven't really broke this mechanic down like I did. It took me a couple of weeks, but I actually got it down. So yeah, let's jump into it. As we all started off in Madden, we all started off with the classic style. The classic style is good, but it don't give you the mechanic that you want to be using in the game, because Madden 24 is trying to push different passing mechanics in the game that'll be more better for you to play. So you're seeing yourself throwing more picks with classic, and I started noticing this with myself, saying, yeah, I'm gonna play with classic, I'm good at it. But I started understanding that certain defenses break on the ball when you can't, add the definition of the pass mechanics. So they actually got a first one called, they got many of them called, we got placement and power, and we have placement and accuracy. As we read to the side here, we got passing types, which is placement and power, enable the visual targets to control the pass placement and the power only, leaving accuracy to be determined by player ratings. Placement and accuracy enable timing and element for perfect accuracy on a bullet pass. Top of the visual targets to control the pass placement and power. And the classic disable the skill based passing and using classic Madden passing buttons. So we actually want to understand this subject is that you don't have to use placement and power at all, because you get placement and power and accuracy by using placement and accuracy within this depth. So you want to turn passing slow down on, you don't really need that. And people that want to play with far, this is totally up to you. No distance, totally up to you. But the best one to play is on near. I'm gonna give you a little bit explanation of playing on near that'll give it a little bit more in depth of how you're utilizing near, and also practicing the freeform passing as well to get better at it. So now this is very difficult. So the other two you want to keep on visual. You can keep those on visual, it's totally up to you. Now I do recommend leaving them on visual, but we want to get into the freeform radical speed. Now this is your release of the quarterback and the type of release that you use for the quarterback, and understanding what type of release that you use for the quarterback to actually make short type of throws, like traditional, slinger, and stuff like that. I'm gonna go more in depth with that tip. You can definitely utilize that on my ebook tip for the quarterback thing. So I have a more in-depth video for you guys to buy on the ebook store. You can definitely download that as well for the hidden tips that I will be having up for this. So we're going to be going way more in depth to a lot of people that don't understand how to freeform, but I'm going to give you a basic guide. If you want the advanced guide, that'll be on there too as well. So the freeform radical, a lot of people used to play on 5 just to get used to the game, get a little bit, but the sweet spot is either 7 or 14. Now, these are the sweet spots depending on 10, 11. It's pretty much your preferences of the quarterback that you use to add to this dynamic of plays that you use for the type of quarterback that you use. Me personally, I use Mahomes. He has slinger, but it's a different type of slingers that's a representative in each player. So it's depending on the release that you use and depending on the release that you don't use. So I'm gonna give you 2 examples of different quarterback that you use, which would be Aaron Rodgers, and also using a traditional quarterback, which would be Lamar Jackson. So we're going to be going into depth on which releases and speeds that you can use for these type of quarterbacks, add a little bit more of a radical difference. Now, this is your preference. I think near is the best distance that you want to have on this, because far you're actually overthrowing it with far and actually underthrowing it too as well. So near is pretty much the sweet spot you want to throw within the radical. And I'm gonna give you a little bit of a technique on making your near passes way more advanced with any type of speed that you want to use, and be able to practice it a little bit more advanced. So the sweet spot we're going to be going for with, we're going to start off with the traditional, because a lot of people like playing with traditional quarterbacks with that type of throwing style. But if you want to know any more throwing styles and breakdowns of full throwing styles of the best quarterbacks, definitely go to the ebook. You can definitely ebook store and definitely get the hidden tips for the passing freeform mechanic by the Hidden Pros. A lot of people don't know that I have found personally. So If you want to take a little bit more advanced, yeah. So we're going to be messing with the sweet spot of really 7 or 8. I really want to recommend 8 for the traditional users because a lot of people don't know this type of thing for a different release of quarterbacks. So let's jump into it and see the type of speed that we get with Lamar Jackson for the traditional throw style that he has for that type of particular quarterback. Look at the radicals, look at the stuff they can do, and look at the receivers that we're going to be going into. So let's jump into it. Okay, guys, we're going to be jumping into Lamar Jackson, and his throwing style is traditional 4. If you want more advanced tips on that too as well, like I said before, if you want more advanced tips on the pre-pour fab, make sure you visit the ebook store. Definitely get the advanced pad form or whatever I name it, or it should be popping on the screen somewhere. I'm probably going to do it either today or tomorrow. So we're going to focus on the radical speed 8 and his traditional throw, which is 4. This depending on you find the quarterbacks that have the best traditional throws. So the throwing styles, not traditional throws, but it has more than one traditional 4. So depending on the type of quarterback that you use and you like throwing with, like generic, there's 3 type of, I think it's more than 3. There's 3 type of throwing styles, which would be slinger. It would be slinger throwing styles, generic, and also traditional. So you got 3 type of throwing styles, but there's numbers in between these type of throwing styles for each quarterback. So we're going to be going over Lamar Jackson, which is going to be a radical speed of 8, which near. So we're going to be focusing on this. So we're going for this out route, which is just going to be a basic play out of my custom ebook. So yeah, definitely go get that. But showing y'all everything. But we want to go to this out route to Andrews. Now, the focus on the out route is we want to look at the radical. Now, when we throw the play and we see the out route here, we can actually see the radical being thrown out. So when we see the radical being thrown out, we see the accuracy of the quarterback being placed where the ball is being placed. So the generic point of this play is understanding where the ball is going. So let's say if we want to throw under. So let's take the instance as we want to throw under the Edwards. So Edwards here, we want to throw under. That'll be a good play. So you see a perfect type of 3. So it's the release of the quarterback. So you want to take that into account. So let's say if we run this play right and we want to throw outside of the receiver. Let's say if we want to come back out in YSL, we're going to come back out in nickel. Let's say we run in man. Okay, let's run man. So we got man here. So now we want to throw traditional. Now we got a man coverage play. We got a nice, perfect accuracy type of bullet pass. Now, as you can see here, we're going to throw to the out route here. So when we throw to the out route, you'll see where the ball is being placed outside of the receiver. So this is depending on the type of throwing style you want to get used to throwing. So as you can see here, we're throwing away from the receiver when you use a near. Near, I think, is where the accuracy is placement. So you want to take a look at your player's accuracy. So this is where it comes into play, actually identifying the player that you're using within the depth chart. So let's say we go to Lamar Jackson, right? We go all the way over to his throwing style here, right? So now we got, as we see here, we got a short throw of 97, a mid throw of 95, and a deep throw of 84. And we got a throw on a run, 98. And we got his throwing power, 95. And his break shack, 98. So he pretty much got a play action, 97. So he pretty much solid across the board. So the next thing we got to get used to is throwing with traditional 4. Now with traditional 4 is that you want to press L2 and actually throw the ball down. So you see how it's more accurate and you can see how the throw is actually coming about. So now we're throwing down. Now we understand where the traditional 4 is being actually utilized, because we're actually utilizing his throwing, and you're seeing the releases a little bit more faster. So you see him throwing down, he's throwing at the receiver. Now we're throwing at the receiver. Now we're going to try to throw away from the receiver. Now let's look at this type of play here. So when we throw the same type of route and we throw away from the receiver, you can actually see the ball being thrown up top and away from the receiver. So let's actually understand this a little bit more better. So as you see the ball going with traditional 4, he throw a lob pass, right? But it's out of the way of the receiver, as you can see here. See how the receiver can't react to it, and you get the first play on the ball to actually use your catch. Now, this is where it gets difficult. So you want to throw out to receiver. So now we're going to throw to the right of the receiver. So we're throwing a bullet to the right. So the traditional 4 lobs it up. So now that you're using the throw style traditional 4, I'm not used to it, but depending on the type of quarterback that you use, you have to utilize what type of throwing style that you use. So I completely threw to the right holding L2, which amplifies that as well. So I'm throwing to his right shoulder, but you see it's still out of reach. So you seeing what I'm saying, actually using the different type of throwing styles to fit the quarterback that you're using. So as I'm noticing, I can't use him on short throws on the outside. That's not going to work with Russell at all. I mean, not with Russell, Jackson at all. So the best bet with Jackson is check down throws. So you see he throwing away from the receiver here. So you'll be able to throw drag, short throws, under counter throws, stuff like that. So my best bet is to drag the receiver and slant the receiver. So that's what really Jackson is really dominant at. So as you can see here, when you throw away, you can see him actually throwing in stride. So the cool thing about this is that you want to actually utilize the throwing. So let's say if we want to streak Batman, right? We streak Batman, but we want to throw to his left shoulder. So as you can see here, you could throw a straight bullet pass, right? So you want to throw to his left shoulder out. So let's say if we want his traditional 4 to go up top when he breaks it. So you want to hold L2, throw up top to the defensive receiver. So now you got a good balance of how he's throwing. So now you're like, okay, now I can figure out how he's balancing. Now we can go back to instant replay and figure out how to make this throwing style work for me. So me personally, okay, he got some beat here. So me throwing up top is not going to work because that triggers the safety. So we want to throw to his right to left shoulder. So now when we streak the ball with traditional 4, we're going to throw to his left shoulder when he breaks free. So when he breaks free there, we want to throw to his left shoulder and we get that in stride. But that safety plays on the ball very good. So this comes down to like, okay, is traditional 4 a fast release or is a slow release? So this is where it comes into play. Is 8 faster for me or I need to go higher? So this is where you actually come into play of using traditional 4 throwing style with the radical speed of placement and accuracy. So basically he got all the accuracy that he wants, but you want to be able to throw outside to beat the safety. So you see what I'm saying, how it actually comes into play a type of throwing style that you use, because traditional 4 is not good. Traditional 4 is not good for any type of streaks or long balls or outside routes as well. So the only thing traditional 4 is really good for is really drags and slants and cut corner and post routes. So let's say if I want to run a post route with traditional 4 throwing style with Jackson, he'll be able to throw that perfectly because I can actually throw down and he'll be able to go in stride. So you see what I'm saying? So you actually get to break down which one is which one is not for traditional throwing and traditional 4 with Lamar Jackson. So we're going to be going to Rodgers to show you with Slinger 1, which is the best throwing style in the game to utilize. So let's jump into it. Okay, guys, now we got the GOAT with the throwing styles, which is Aaron Rodgers, which has Slinger 1 throwing style. Slinger 1 throwing style is the best throwing style that you're going to have in the game, depending on how you practice with it. Now, the cool thing about this throwing style is the more you adjust the radical speed, the faster his release is. So his release is already fast with Slinger, so you have to add that into equate as 2 of him being the X factor as well. So the cool thing about this is that when you're using Slinger 1, you have to utilize how you want to place the ball erratically. So when you're in a radical and he comes out and he pass lead down, you see how he actually catches the ball. So you see the release is actually going towards and away from the defender a little bit more faster. So the faster release, the better the defense can't react on it. So when you use this ball, he actually throws the ball away. So you have to utilize freeform and angling the ball as well. So let's say if I don't want to throw completely right stick, left stick to the right, we actually just want to just freeform. So the best way to freeform this is that holding L2 and just passing to the receiver that you want to go to. So when you pass to the receiver that you go to, the ball actually plays where it wants to go. So now you're getting a feel of how this, thing is actually working. So when you're throwing the ball, you actually have to feel where the receiver is going, so you can actually pass lead down. You can actually throw it towards the receiver. So now when you pass lead down, holding the left stick down, you actually getting a lower to the hip throw. So now we want to throw to his right side. So we're going to hold this and throw to his right side. So now it overthrows. So this is where it gets where you have to adjust the radical speed for you. So if you want to adjust the radical speed, this is where you actually get an understanding of how to throw the ball a little bit more better. Me personally, I only make this throw freeform to actually see where the ball is going. So when I free throw regularly, you see I actually throw a pick. So this is coming to where you want the radical speed to go. So me personally, I don't really play on 8. That's a secret thing. I don't really play on it. So now I get a nice outside throw. So you want to throw, to make that type of throw, you want to hold the left stick in the clockwise, like 5 o'clock. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, about 4 or 5 o'clock at most. 4 or 5 o'clock, sometimes 6. So you want to take that into account as well. So when you throw sometime 5 or 6, this is a perfect, right there. Already in stride, you can rack catch this right up the field. So now you're throwing away from the receiver. It goes right into his hand. You can actually spec catch that. I usually spec catch, roll on the ground, all that type of stuff. So you want to take that into account, throwing that outside. So this actually makes your check downs way better too as well, or fast release too as well. Perfect accuracy, completed down the road, all that stuff. So you want to take that into account too as well. So when you're passing leading with Slinger 1, you actually want to utilize this as well and get used to passing outside like that. Passing away to the defender in stride, stuff like that. So when you're passing in stride, it's kind of difficult to do, but when you do it, you can actually get it, not to throw overboard and all that other stuff. So this is where you start to adjust your radical speed, seeing where it go. But after you get used to practicing throwing outside, now you can actually take it a little bit more serious and actually start throwing drag routes. So now when you start adding drag routes to your game, you start understanding how this actually works. So now you see the speed boosts are outside fields you're getting, how you can utilize that going down the field. It actually added a whole bunch of dynamic to my game using Slinger 1 and different slingers as well. So when I throw my drags, they're way more deadly now. So now they faster. I can get them in tight windows. And also, as you see here, when you rack catch, you get a speed boost. So I'm going to explain that in the ebook for freeform passing as well to give you a little bit more in depth. It's going to be pretty long of a video, but I'm going to give you a breakdown of how that works too as well. When you rack catch, you actually get a speed boost out of that. So when you're understanding this, you definitely want to take this into account of practicing throwing outfield with the type of throwing style that you like. Because if you do, you can get those tight window throws just like that. And also understanding the streaks too as well. So when you get the streaks and he's beating him or anything like that, you can definitely utilize this as well. So you want to throw inside, the safety to come inside. You can actually rack catch. So you can, a little bit more advanced with that as well. So let's say if he's, not pressing you or something like that. Let's say if we come out in a cover robber 1 press, let's say here we come out YSL and we come out and cover 1 robber. Usually I'd be pressing, so yeah, we're gonna come on that just in case. So I wanted to press, but I don't feel like hooking up the other controller. But yeah. So let's see if they got a press in here. I thought they did, but backslant, cover 1, hold, press. Yeah, that works. So now we got them on the line. So let's say if we want to press here, they come in press, and also we're trying to streak. So we want to take this into account that we have Slinger 1. So we have to be careful on how we throw this, because Slinger 1 on a regular streak sometimes overthrows and sometimes catch and stride. So you can definitely utilize this as well. So when you throw on a streak, let's say if I want to pass lead up like I just did, I pass lead up, he throws in stride. So let's go to the instant replay and let me explain to you what I'm talking about. So when you throwing in stride, you see how he catches the ball with no stutter steps or nothing like that. You could throw it inside. He catches this. Now, this is where I say you want to adjust your radical speed, because when he stops here, he loses that momentum a little bit. But when you adjust your radical speed a little bit higher as you get better, he starts to take off better. I'm going to explain that in the ebook as well. So when you're doing the streak and you want to throw to his left shoulder, you want to pass lead to the left. Now, this is the tricky part of finding where the stick lands in that radical. So when he breaks free, you want to throw that radical there. See how he catches in stride and the angle? You can definitely get that too as well. So when he catches in stride, he's trying to throw to the left shoulder. So as you see here, he breaks free of the press. Also, you see how he goes into an angle of catching the ball in stride. So you can actually, switch yourself out of bounds. So when you do come in that press too as well, you can actually utilize throwing inside or outside. So let's say if you break the streak just like that, you want to pass the inside quickly. You actually got a nice separation space there. So it's a little bit more advanced, but as you get better with the radical speed and more speed as well that you add to the radical speed, let's say if you go up to 14, you'll be able to make this throw a little bit more faster. As you see here, when he catches it, see the separation that you get from him. See how the separation that you get from the defender, so you won't be able to dive catch you. So as you see, you get the speed boost and you'll be able to run a little bit more faster. So when you're running this too with different type of throwing styles for quarterbacks, you'll be able to beat the press, beat the drag, beat all that stuff. So when you're running inside, you can throw it inside, catch it inside. But sometimes they won't go into that type of play. So you want to be careful when you're throwing inside. You want to be quick, but you want to be able to throw inside on time. So when you're throwing inside, see how it overthrows him a little bit because he's not inside. So you want to take that into account too as well. So you know when to freeform, know when not to freeform. So when you don't press the analog stick and you pass that very quickly, you see how you catch it right in stride inside. So I'm just holding L2. I didn't do left stick right, left stick left, left stick up. You know what I'm saying? So that's pretty much it. If you want a good in-depth tutorial, I will have it on the ebook of freeform passing advanced tip tutorial. So I definitely have that as well that you can buy on the ebook store. Link will be in the description as well that you can be able to buy, or should be having it on the stream some damn where. So be on the lookout for that if you want to take it a little bit more further with the freeform style, because I pretty much mashed and I pretty much got it down, and I'm actually learning how to rack catch with it. So definitely look into that and the ebook as well. So let's look into that as well. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm out of here, guys. Deuces.